I went to a customer's house with my brother, and we're doing the job and everything, and like, my brother is the one in charge, but he lets me deal with a lot of the customers, and I'm fine with that, so I was like, whatever. This little Asian guy, I call him little Asian guy, because he's smallishly adorable.
Wow.
Like, I know that sounds weird, but he really was he's a small guy, and it was just kind of adorable how small he was. And he walks up to me and was like, James? And I'm like, yeah, my name's James. And so he's like, all right, shakes his hand. I tell him my brother's name is Michael, and like, I introduced us. And then I'm over here doing the job, trying to work, and he's like, James, can you make sure this gets done? And I'm like, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. And he's like, okay. And he's like, James, can you do that? And he does this all day, just saying my name, coming up behind me repeatedly, just saying, James, all freaking day, to the point that like, I am now getting annoyed. Like, customers do annoy me from time to time, but I usually keep it in.
I never thought that customers would be at the house while you're doing stuff. Or, like,
They
you'd be here.
They would love to be in the house while you're doing stuff. What are you talking about?
All
You
the
want to
freaking
let
time.
people into your house that are going to destroy your walls?
Well, the guy today, he let me into his house and he left with his wife. I love those customers.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
And it's like, all right.
I don't want to deal with. I don't want to have to
Trust
listen
you
to
to get the
this.
job done.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
if you mess it up, I'll move back.
he was gone for an hour, came back, and he was like, oh my gosh, we had most of the house done already.
That's so funny.
And he was like, you guys work fast. But anyways, this Asian guy says my name 1,000 times. I tell Zach about this. We have to go back to his house and put in the door.
Well, we make more money if we work fast.
Yes, exactly. Like, but I tell Zach about this Asian guy. I'm like, dude, he wouldn't leave me alone. Like, he was up my butt the whole time. And like, just watching everything I did too. Just like inspecting it, and then as soon as I put the window, he's like, there's crack there. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta caulk that, but I'm not done yet. Wow. So like, let me do my job real fast, and then when it's all said and done, I promise you it'll look good. And he's like, okay. And then he still didn't listen to that. He actually said, okay.
Wow.
So I tell Zach about all this, and he's like, all right. He didn't believe me, I don't think. So when we show up to do the door, this guy sees me, he's like, oh, James, the windows look really good. Yes, the windows look good. I was like, thank you. I was like, I know, like, thank you. And then he's like, all right. And then they start working on the door. I'm not really messing with the door. All right. And then all of a sudden he walks in and he's like, James, what are they doing that for? And I'm like, well, we got to do that because this, and this. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, he sees them do something and he's like, James. Oh I'm like, dude, I am not the lead tech on this job. Leave me alone.
It's kind of fun. I get what you're saying though. It's kind of cute. It's kind of like, it's like you're. It's kind of funny.
Dude, after I said done, Zach looks at me, he's like, I didn't believe you at the beginning. He's like, but oh my God, he said your name 1,000 times. He was like, it was starting to annoy me. And I was like, right? Like, anytime there was an issue, anytime he just didn't understand something, he immediately came to me and asked me. And I'm just like, ask the people that are working on it. Like, he asked me a couple of times what Michael was doing at one point. And to help you understand, I'm in a totally different room. Totally different room of the house. I'm upstairs, Michael's downstairs tapping. And then he comes up and he's like, James, he's doing this. And I was like, what? And he shows me what he's doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing that because of blah, 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 blah. And I think that's mainly the reason he talked to me the whole time, was because I gave the explanation behind why we were doing the things we were doing. Where Michael would just do, you should scoop that by the way. Where Michael would just do things, and if customers ask him, not to say he won't answer them, he just sometimes doesn't want to. If that makes sense. But yeah, that was the story about a little cute Asian guy who kept calling my name.
James. Oh, it's a drop.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well then.
Yeah. Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Bear thing. All right. See, and this is why he's a good guest. He's been on the show. I don't have to introduce this. This guy's Praetor, just in case I do though.
Pray for it.
Yes. Dude, seriously, ever since I saw that street sign,
Oh, Prater.
yeah, that's all I've ever called you. And I think that was like 2 years ago. I saw a street sign that said Prater, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it made me curious because I was like, do you think Prater's name initially came from the word Prater?
Yep. I believe so. I think so. I mean, like, if you're looking at like the genealogy of it.
Yeah, it also depends on where
like,
like
it's like on paper, it does like diverge from Prater to Prater, but I don't know if that's.
Well,
that means I don't know if that means my name legit came from Prater, but I know at some point it did converge into that.
into that, which makes me curious because that means along the lines, genealogy-wise, Prater usually just comes as a title. Or was a title, not anymore, but it was a title that I think the Romans, like a Roman,
Guard.
no.
That's what ancestors were apparently. Were Roman guard.
But were they Roman guard for a Praetor?
No, not for a Praetor. I don't know. Well, probably maybe. I don't know.
Because like just
I think it was for.
because like a Praetor wasn't just like was a higher level person. Like they weren't like Senate seat or anything like that, but they were
really?
like they held title or sway in the city. And so like that's why I was started getting curious about your name being Praetor. I was like, dude, if it comes from Praetor, that makes me believe that somewhere in your ancestry there was Roman. Yeah, that was at least held some sort of land or something.
Yeah. I'm sure I do. Because from what my dad's found out, like, just the research that he's done, that we do, like, our lineage does span all the way back into the Roman
Empire?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Pretty cool.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how true it is.
I mean, it's probably very true because honestly, no offense to you beautiful white people, but your ancestry does lead mainly to the somewhere in Greece, in the Middle Eastern area. I don't know.
What do you think of American?
He's like 1/8 Native American.
I think I'm 1/8.
He just has a really dark skin tone.
I'm white.
Actually, I think he probably is more than that because isn't it like your great grandmother?
It's either 3 or 4 generations
Okay.
back. Like, it's close, but it's not that close. It's probably closer to an 8th than anything else.
You know how we're talking about, like, there's a possibility that our ancestors, like, have more of an impact on our life than we realize that, like, the fears that we had, stuff
because,
that memory, like the
you know, it's the best way to explain how it works in a scientific or a science fiction way is the animus in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, where all of your DNA, because the way that machine works is that your DNA is passed on through ancestor, and you have ancestral memories inside of your DNA. Yeah. And through the use of the animus, he's able to go back in time and relive those memories.
Yeah.
And
I forgot all about that game.
Yeah, and so like that's actually like really. I don't want to say that it's like, oh, we could actually go back and relive these memories. No, but it's like, but all of that has been passed down through generations. Like, the memories of your ancestors are inside you.
I wish that was like more.
I want them to make a game where it messes up. Because
I wish it was more like on the surface though, like what we can.
Because like your genes that are passed down from from your mom or your grandmother and all that stuff like that because they contain it or whatever. But I want them to mess up because, so let's say your grandmother was a massive slut.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say something else.
No,
I thought you were just gonna stop at massive.
No, it was a massive.
She was
slut.
a massive. Okay.
Say your grandmother was a massive, slut.
Yeah, a massive.
And then like we get to the time period where animus can happen.
Sluts.
All right, but like let's say
the year 2030.
Yeah. So you
what
have
year
that.
was Assassin's Creed set in? Do you remember? I think it was 2008. I think that's the year it was set in. Was the year like released or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was like, hey, this is now.
But like no, let's say that she is, and because of the way that DNA works with ejaculation and all that crap, it actually gets melded. So like when your child is born, the reason it's not 100% is because there's other people's DNA. So like
it's both. You're getting both, a mix of both.
No, not just that. But let's say you have sex with someone else, a couple other people before a time period of copulation, whatever happens when the woman gets pregnant.
Well, the thing is, because of the way this works, you're only getting the genetic imprint, or I'll even just say a memory implant, since we're talking like science fiction. You only get your memory implant up to the age of your ancestor when they had sex to bring you to life.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You know
the thing is, like,
so
the
like,
person that
my dad was 25 when I was born. So inside of me is that 25 years of genetics that he grew. But then now he's 25 years older than that, and none of that is in me.
No, but no. What I'm saying is, like, still, your mother still carries on the DNA of other people for up to like 9 to 10 months. It's a ridiculous amount of time. So she's out of wedlock or whatever,
and
then she gets pregnant after having sex with
a woman's ovaries.
That was actually a science article that I was reading. That was just like
a woman's. So I could have DNA from someone that my mom had slept with 9 months previously.
Yes,
that makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense.
You have one single cell sperm. One sperm. That sperm.
I'm not saying that you don't have your
genetics.
Explain
how sex works?
That's not the question there. You would have to explain sex. You have to explain how cell breakdowns work.
Do you understand?
But like cells being broken down and how they actually form into another person is a lot more complex than what you guys seem to think it is.
You know what a PP is?
What is a PP?
A PP? A portable.
Because I'm trying to figure out what a PP is because I'm like, I don't think I have that.
A prosthetic prostate.
A prosthetic
portable pussy.
Whoa, hey, sir.
There you go. Yeah, PP.
We're trying to keep
That's how sex
We're trying to keep it PG in
portable pussy.
Oh God,
pussy cat.
That's how
throwing it around.
It's a pocket cat.
Yeah, it's a pocket cat.
Dude, I looked up the word pussyfoot yesterday.
Oh yeah, don't pussyfoot about it.
Yeah, don't pussyfoot around, bro.
Yeah.
I looked it up and like there were several like explanations of where it could have come from.
Yeah.
And one of them was from they said very stealthy undercover cop during Prohibition.
It's a pussyfoot.
And well, no, but this guy made the term thing. And it was like to be stealthy or something. I'm like, I've never heard pussyfooting used in the term of being stealthy.
I've always heard it like
stop.
Don't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Don't pussyfoot about it.
I've heard it being around the bush is good. I've also heard it being like don't be lazy.
Don't beat on the bush.
Yeah. There's multiple different wording or ways you can use it apparently. I just always assumed it would stop being lazy. But this guy got the term coined in like 1873 is what this date was, maybe?
Oh, I forgot to hit record. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I got you.
Damn it.
I just pranked you, bro.
Oh my God,
I pranked
so
you,
good, bro.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, pranked him. Yeah.
Like, I love the way. Yeah. Hi. How you doing up there, guy?
So what were we saying?
Oh, no, that was just a pretty funny thing that made me laugh. It was just like so many different ways that I guess it can be used because it was showing me like 4 or 5 different definitions. And I don't remember all of them, but it was. I should save these articles honestly and send them to you so you can read them as well.
No, I have a thing on our Evernote where you can put subjects to be discussed on the show.
Yeah, no, you can.
An actual
but those aren't things that I look up for the show. It's just I just happen to be.
Well, yeah, you look them up and then if you're like, oh, that's really cool. You should just throw it in that.
Sure.
Just throw them in that. I'll do the same thing. I've been trying to. I just keep forgetting.
Yeah, same. Because
we're really bad at this.
Usually my conversations.
Let me start producing your podcast.
You should. That'd be amazing. Really? Yeah. I'm totally down for that.
Okay.
Are you gonna go get a cigarette right now?
Yeah.
Right
no,
this
dude,
darn
just wait like 10 more minutes.
2 minutes.
10 more minutes. We'll all go out. We'll all take a break.
We'll all go out and smoke a doobie.
I thought you were about to say dookie.
No, thank you. I'm good with
a cigar. Just got like a.
See, cigars always just make me want to do the whole like. Yeah. Oh.
Just smoke that. Put that in your mouth.
Let's all go out and smoke a doobie. I thought he was gonna say, let's go out. Let's all I bet it. You sure you don't want it?
I bet it.
Do you bet it too? Now I have to. Word we can't say. smoke a fat doobie with me?
Can you turn that up?
What is this thing? I'm loving
It
this.
needs to be way louder. There's no way that's going to pick it up over the guitar.
Play it over here. Right in there, here. Dookie? Are you saying dookie?
We thought that was the dookie.
I've been saying doobie. So. Ew. Let's go out and smoke a dookie. That was fun. So, I haven't seen you in a while, right? I've missed you. But
how time changed.
have they though? Other than the fact that you got a massive beard thing going on now.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you had that last time.
the only time
We should
changing.
start a spin-off called the Beard Thing.
The beard thing shows. It's just gonna be half your face.
The beard thing show. I do like that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Oh my
When are we
God.
going to get around to doing your next podcast thing?
I've been so unmotivated. I need to. If we want to do do like a talking heads kind of thing, we can do that whenever.
Yeah, but I like the concept of
Is that a band?
going over albums and crap.
It is a band.
Talking heads?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But we're not talking about talking.
It's another word for that is playing swords.
Yeah.
Talking heads, playing swords. You know what I'm talking about, right?
slap me.
I was like, I think I can, but I don't know.
No.
Thanks for that.
Talking swords. It's a normal thing. Guys do it.
Something.
No homo.
Spitting.
No homo.
Spitting.
But look, okay, what were we talking? Let's actually talk about something for the next few minutes.
I mean, we are. We're talking about some weird
I
stuff.
don't want to talk about this. We were talking about ancestry. You were starting to say something, and then we got completely derailed by me explaining what I was thinking.
Oh,
how
well,
it works.
just
With,
was
like
my-
you were saying more surface level.
Yeah, like that it was almost like the memories that you're saying, like the memories of your dad up until 25 years.
Yeah.
Like, what if we relived like that? We knew about we lived that life, and we're just an offspring of that. Rather than being like
Our own
an
individual
offspring,
person.
we're like clones. But we're an individual person up until to a degree,
Mhm.
where it's like, but we're actually the combination we are. But it's very
Like an
low
absolute
surface.
airbender.
But it's like, so we're kind of, but it's like we have all these memories of
our past lives.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, of our past lives.
Yeah.
Man, that's what dreams
Not
are.
reincarnation.
But it's like you have
style.
the memories of your mother, and you have the memories
Yeah.
and the lessons and stuff that your father had.
Yeah,
It's like it's
yeah,
all
and
you
then their
know about it.
grandparents,
You can recollect
their
it.
parents and their
Exactly.
grandparents and
Up
their
until you
grandparents,
know.
all the way back till the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And
So it's like all these it's like, man, I wish I knew that when I was this age. It's like,
the
well,
way
you kind
to
of carry that on. You
the
teach
way to
that,
actually
you-
start like experiencing that stuff is that you have to get reconnected with nature.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
So
you
you do have it.
It's
just-
there, and you can experience it,
Yeah.
but you have to do those things that your ancestors did. If you do the things your ancestors did, it actually starts unlocking the memory and that potential.
I feel like that sounds like you're not living your own life.
Like going hiking, being out in nature, cliff diving, doing these things that it's like these are things
What
that
if my ancestors
forebears
weren't doing that?
then do what they did, sailing. Go build a mud hut. Build a mud hut. Build a mud hut.
My ancestors just like,
You know, like do stuff that your ancestors would have done, and that starts to unlock those memories and everything. I mean, I think it's possible to experience that kind of stuff. It's kind of like how natural talent. You know, like where it's like, oh, that's natural talent that he has there. It's kind of like because your ancestors are really good at it, and so you're naturally gifted in doing that thing because you've had generations before you perfecting the skill of it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that guy's a genius. And it's like, yeah, because all these people before worked so hard that now it's just in his genetics, it's in the DNA.
Yeah. There has to be some sustenance to that, right? I mean, I'm sure there's stuff.
I have absolutely no scientific proof for anything that I'm saying whatsoever, and that is my disclaimer.
Are you like Dr. McNeely?
No,
Dr. McNeely.
I have no doctorate.
Wouldn't that be awesome if you did have a doctorate? That way you could say all this shit and it wouldn't.
Oh, and yeah,
it just,
totally
and people could just accept it.
Wait, you're not a doctor?
Oh, because of the whole appealing to authority.
Yeah, it's
gosh.
The doctor said it. It's gotta be
Do
real.
people want to appeal to authority?
All the time.
Why?
I appeal to authority.
All the
Yeah,
time.
you do. Stop it.
This body. I appeal to this authority.
Oh my god.
Come at me, bros. Arrest us.
No, I think it's isn't it the appeal to authority fallacy is what it's technically called? Where just because someone is considered an expert, you just assume that they're correct in everything. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people do that. If someone just comes out and says, blah, 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 because I'm an engineer, you're like, oh, sounds good, because I don't know anything.
Well, if
it's
they
really
saying like
a normal thing to do, because you're like, well, he must know what he's talking about. He's an engineer.
It's like if you're
but the thing is, then you should immediately be like, okay, well, what does the other engineer think? Oh, he actually contradicted and said how that guy's actually wrong because blah, 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 blah. Well, now I don't know what it is, and now I need to get a consensus.
I mean, a lot of times, if like someone gives me a lot of information about something I have no clue about, I'm gonna usually go behind them and look it up later. I may not say anything to them at that moment.
That's
I'll be
smart.
like, okay,
no, that's smart.
And then go home and look at it.
The thing is, I mean, I think the easy example, which I don't think you or I are. I don't think you or I did it, because actually this kind of ties in. I won't say goes back to, but ties in to when we were talking on the phone this morning. About teachers.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be the easiest explanation of like a appealing to authority fallacy is because this person is a teacher and I'm a child, so whatever the teacher says must be true.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they don't actually know what they're talking about, and they're just reading out the book just like you are.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? So it's like, really, because we were talking about it, is there'd be times where you go to your teacher and be like, hey, I don't understand how this works, and so they pull out the book and start reading it themselves to be like, yes, I don't know either.
Yeah, and then you're sitting there like, what was the point of me asking? I could just do that too.
I could read the book. I read the book.
I mean, there's something about like someone who knows something and knows how to get to the answer, rather than being like someone who doesn't know nothing and is still trying to find the answer. You know what I mean? It's like they might know a little bit. Like the teacher at least knows a little bit and knows how to find it, at the least, you know, or not all the time. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, but what I was talking to him about was like literally like.
Well, we were talking about the ring.
Yeah, we did start off. No, we started off talking about Lord of the Rings.
Talking about the ring and Lord of the Rings.
And then we got to a
teacher.
teacher.
How we got to talk about teachers.
It was a crazy journey.
Well, no, I mean, there's you know, because like you can the analogy of the ring can be extrapolated to mean teachers.
How so?
Well,
you see, if you're willing, teacher on your finger.
If you're willing to follow this bridge,
whoa!
If you're willing, okay, so we start from the ring, and then we're going to bridge to the next subject. And if you're willing to follow this all the way to the end, it's kind of like how Mel Gibson is sex.
Dude, Mel Gibson
is sex. That makes sense. That's totally different.
Like everyone understands
saying,
yeah, but it's like, okay, well, how did we get to that? How did you get to the conclusion that Mel Gibson is sex? And it's like, okay, well, Mel Gibson made The Passion of the Christ.
Terrible. And
The Passion of the Christ is about Jesus. And so that makes Mel Gibson like 6 degrees of separation. So Mel Gibson and Jesus are connected. Jesus is connected to God. God is love. Sex and love are synonymous. So Mel Gibson is sex.
No.
It's a few leaps in the
Mel Gibson is sex because
it
sex
makes sense.
Is also Mel Gibson, and it just goes on.
No, it's not.
It's a repeated. It
turtles all the way down, bro. You're overcomplicating it.
No.
Mel Gibson sex done. That's all it is.
Yeah, there's a bacon.
Yeah,
but I'd like to understand how Mel Gibson is sex, and I've had a very good logical through line to explain how Mel Gibson is sex. For those who are who are skeptical of Mel Gibson being sex, it's like, well, here's the through line. Let's just follow this, and there you go. There's the answer. Yeah. That's how we came here to where, like,
who is skeptical about Mel Gibson being sex? That's the real question.
I mean, people who think he's a racist. They're probably skeptical that he's sex.
Wait, isn't he racist against Jews?
And black people, yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
It's like, wait, so if he was racist to Jews, that doesn't count?
That's not a big deal, it's just Jews.
No. It's gonna get turned around on me like I hate Jews.
I thought you did.
Dude, no, freaking Ben. Oh my god. I called a guy a Jew at work, and not in a derogatory sense or even mean. I was like, he kind of looks like a Jew. And like, that was it. That was just a statement. And then he was like, whoa, James, why are you using the hard J there? I was like, what?
Wait, should I say new? He looks like a new?
I was like, what do you mean? He was like, why'd you call him Jew like that? I'm like, oh, it says he looks like a Jew. He's like, yeah. He's like, you could say he looks Jewish.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I was like, but...
That's not a hard J, because Jewish still has the hard J.
Well, my thing is, I was like, I get what you're kind of saying. Like, I can say he looks Jewish, but no. Like, from the people that I've met that I know that are Jews, he looks a lot like them. And I'm not saying he looks Jewish. He just looks like a Jew.
Well, that's hey, in the comments,
is that racist?
is it racist to say he looks like a Jew instead of saying he looks Jewish? Because personally, I'm a little bit confused on that because I don't see how just saying Jew would be offensive, but Jewish is not offensive.
Yeah, like, that's what me walking up to
look white.
Just an abbreviation.
You look black.
Yeah, exactly. If I walked up to a person and was like,
he looks like a black.
he looks like a white guy.
He looks like a black.
Yeah, it's like
He looks like a
Jew. He looks like a black. Is that racist?
like great. I can see in the term of being like,
it's only racist
if they actually meant it in a racist way. I think, in my opinion,
it's racist.
Well, okay, that's an interesting thing about dialogue, conversation, and context, because it is partially what is the intention behind the words,
yeah.
but it's also what is the reception of those words.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is right.
That's what makes
everything gets lost
difficult.
in translation because people always want to put their own spin into it.
My buddy Aaron used to say, conversations are more on the listener than they are on the speaker.
They are.
Because the listener has to hear and translate those words accurately.
And the tone of voice is I've been talking to Zach about that here lately. Because
I have to say I'm a little bit skeptical of that. I have to slightly disagree. But I think that it is a true statement, but also a good speaker learns how to convey their thoughts to anyone.
Yes, and I agree with you.
Where there is no loss in translation.
Let's not have a good speaker. Let's just have normal people.
Exactly, that's hard.
And so the thing is, I think it comes down to...
Like you and me, like us, we're not good speakers, so it does come more to the listener.
Exactly, and because Zach has been running into an issue where he's like, you could say something, you could say the same exact phrasing I say, and he's like, a lot of people will receive it better than if I say it. I'm like, your tone of voice, a lot of people don't understand. I'm like, a lot of people don't understand that you aren't actually mad. It's the fact that you have a deeper voice, the way you hold yourself. A lot of things involved, because speaking or conversation isn't just words. Yeah. It's everything involved.
No, conversation is 10% the words you say.
Exactly, and the rest is literally people paying attention how you're standing, the way you are presenting yourself, everything involved. They're listening to the inflection. There's so much more involved than just saying
how
words.
all the viewers who have watched have always seen how uninterested I am in everything that you ever say.
Yeah, probably.
Particularly through body language. Because through words, I'm like, wow, yeah. But then they watch the body language, like,
what's my body language?
Care. Jittery.
Yeah, deep down. You're like, oh god.
Anyways, this is gonna be the end of part 1.
Yeah.
We'll come back next week. We'll talk some more. We're gonna go take a break.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to the Beard Thing Show. It's just me, your host.